Nicole Scott here at Mobile Geeks, and here I am at the Intel booth at CES 2014. And today, I'm going to be reviewing the Lenovo Ultrabook. This is the Thinkpad X240. Now, I have been a Lenovo Thinkpad X series user for quite some time. I've had the X220, and then I've moved over onto the Yoga 13, and I'm on the Yoga 2 Pro. So I'm actually really embracing the 2-in-1 form factor right now with the tablet. But when I come to a conference, my heart does lie a little bit with this ThinkPad series. One of the reasons is that it's ThinkPad and it's durable. I mean, and it's still fairly sexy. It's not as sexy as my Yoga 2, but it is still a sexy machine. So one of the things that I like most about it is that it does have a roll cage inside, so that if you want to like drop it, or you don't want to, you just happen to. So if you happen to drop it, the likelihood of your computer surviving is much higher. And the other reason I'm so big on this machine is that this is the battery life warrior to beat them all. So what's going on over here is we have a 3-cell battery down in the front here, and then you can have a 3-cell battery in the back here, or a 6-cell battery here. So I've been using this at the show, and I have gotten all day battery life while editing videos. So under the hood, we have the Intel Core i5, the U series, I think it's the 4200, and then this version comes with 8 gigabytes of RAM and a 256 SSD. So this combination will actually cost you about $1,500 US. There is about a $1,000 US version that comes with a Core i3, a regular hard drive, 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it doesn't come with a touch screen. Now, one of the things that I do want to point out here is that this is a touch screen, and well, it's thicker, right? The screen is a lot thicker than a lot of other devices on the market, and this is actually a thicker device overall than a lot of devices on the market. But that's because it does have the roll cage and it is so durable. So you are definitely giving something up. But if you check out what's going on here with the hinge mechanism, this is one of the reasons why I love this computer so much. The roll back on there, the way the hinge around the front, right, it goes to flat. The hinge is completely protected. Right, if you look at it from the bottom, this is an incredibly durable hinge mechanism. And that's one of the things that I like about this device so much. But the other thing that I really like about this device is, let's take a look around here. So we've got the headphone jack. This is a powered USB. Here we have an option for 3G. Here we have a SIM card slot and a full-size Ethernet. Now, one of our guys didn't bring his USB to Ethernet adapter, so I had to give it to them. So I was stuck on Wi-Fi. Which sucked, right? And having a full-size Ethernet port for business is something that I'm wishing that a lot of my devices had. The Kensington lock back here, we have these great hinges that I pointed out. Around the other side, here's the PSU, here's a big fan, full-size VGA. Sorry about that, Las Vegas there. There's your USB 3, there's your display port. So now let's take a look at the Ultrabook itself. So it does have a touch screen. The display resolution on this is 1366 by 768, which is disappointing, right? I would personally like to see a 1080p display. I've kind of gotten partial to a 1080p display. I'm not super huge on these 3200 by 1600 like I have in the 2 Pro. Now, one of the things that you're going to love about this is when you kind of move it around, this is a non-glossy display, which is something that I really like to see. When we take a look at the keyboard, right, it has a kind of dip in the island, or in the island style keyboard. So the keys are very large, they're very flat, which is nice, and they have this kind of curve in them, which is nice for touch typers. So when you want to put your hand in, you can easily kind of feel, right, where the edge of the key is going to be because it is raised up. Now, if we get in even closer, one of the great things about the Lenovo keyboards is that they have really good depth. But if you are like a ThinkPad user from back in the day and have been using them a really long time, you might feel like these aren't quite as deep as they have been in the past. I mean, still one of the best keyboards on the market, full stop. The durability, the large shift keys over here, the fact that it comes with a backlit keyboard in there. And then let's talk about the trackpad. The trackpad is huge, right? And it's a single, right? So the entire trackpad goes down. And then of course there is the touch point, right? I actually had to change off the ThinkPad because my finger ended up getting curved and it was achy because I was too aggressive with the touch point on the last one. Even with the sensitivity fully tuned up, I just felt like my finger was a bit achy. But if you are a hardcore touch point user, then maybe it's actually one of those features that you can't leave ThinkPads if you become addicted to it. But the thing that I found is the trackpad isn't as, or maybe it's not as accurate as I would have thought it would be. Whenever I would kind of be up using it here, and I'd be clicking on stuff, sometimes I'd be like, do I have to double tap this? Is it in button mode for up here, or is it in like tap mode for just using the trackpad? I feel like the intelligence in the trackpad could have been a little bit better, but maybe that was just my unit. I mean, it was still excellent, but I felt like it could have been a bit better. Now, it does have support multi-touch gestures. Yeah, like it wasn't bad. Maybe it was just my unit, but I feel like you're gonna have to play around a lot with the settings of your trackpad in order to get it just exactly the way you would like it. Having said that, I do think that you can probably tweak the trackpad and the touch point settings to exactly what you would need. I just didn't have time because, like I said, I was reviewing the X240 from the show floor. Now, when it comes to integrated graphics, you can actually play some light gaming on this, and if you're, say, doing video editing that I was focused on the show floor, so the combination of the big batteries with the Intel HD 4400 graphics. And the thing that I thought was quite good about this is that the HD 4400 graphics is a little bit of a step up the HD 4000 graphics, which is the average graphics processor that Intel ships with its CPUs. So the actually slight bump up, the extra execution cores really makes this a really, really good laptop for Photoshop and processing and quick video editing. The Intel's video quick sync. I mean, this was I think this was a 2.5 minute. Yeah, this was a 2.5 minute, and then it exported in 34 seconds. Right, that's amazing, right? So graphics-wise, you can do some light gaming. I think World of Warcraft got about 31 frames per second, which is totally playable. And in terms of, Photoshop, video editing, would totally loved it. So overall, my feelings about the X240 is that if you are somebody who is really looking for a business laptop, this would be the one to get. The price isn't that much higher than a lot of others that are on the market. And overall, I think the trackpad being something you may have to work on, and the speakers being a little subpar. But if you are looking for a business laptop, speakers can be important if you're playing music or audio for presentations. That is something to keep in mind as well. I'm a huge fan of this form factor, especially because on the plane, when I turn the Wi-Fi off, I can get like 25.5 hours of battery life. I had the X240, and that was about 24.5 hours of battery life if I have my system optimized just right. And so with Haswell, the increased performance on this kind of puts you up around 25. So real world use with Wi-Fi on is around 19. I had a battery slice across the bottom that was 6 cell, but this now has the integrated 6 cell and 3 cell, and I think that that's something that you really need to remember, is that you can have the computer running on this and hot swap this out. So again, huge fan of the form factor, A little disappointed in the trackpad. Totally love the battery life. And when you're at a conference and you're fighting everybody for plugs and Wi-Fi, oh, a very, very strong Wi-Fi module in here as well. Absolutely had no problems connecting. Actually was able to connect more than some of my partners or those who are using the Yoga 2 Pro. They kind of cheaped out a little bit on the Wi-Fi module on the Yoga 2 Pro, and they put a killer one into here. So I'm Nicole Scott from Mobile Geeks, taking a closer look at the Lenovo X240.